Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I am so excited to be on this journey with you guys and to really be able to support you in finding ways for you to thrive, for you to not keep feeling like your trauma is in the driver's seat, but for you to be able to feel like you are able to make choices in your life, that you're able to have relationships in your life that are life-giving. So I wanted to lay out for you guys just a few things that I have noticed in working with my therapy clients who've experienced a lot of trauma, especially attachment trauma. What has been the most impactful things for that healing process? So the first thing that I wanted to lay out was the ability to have a really deep sense of self-awareness. That seems like such a given, but one of the things that I find a lot with trauma survivors, myself included, is that we are so good at abandoning ourselves. I don't know if you can relate with this, but if you grew up in a family where you were used to enmeshing, or you people please, or you've used other types of survival skills in order to not feel the threat that you felt, it's so easy as an adult to just not even know how to connect with yourself. You've always put other people in front, and it almost feels like selfish and bad to be somebody who has boundaries, or to be somebody who thinks about what they need and is able to advocate for that. So being able to build that self-awareness of like, okay, how did I survive that trauma? I can thank those survival skills for helping me survive it, but they're not serving me right now, and I need to get clear on how my old survival skills are sabotaging my life today. Because if I don't know how they're doing this and why they're doing this, there's no way I can connect with them. There's no way I'll be able to respond to them if I don't know what they need. And I'm kind of speaking about these parts of us as if they are parts. But if you've done any work with internal family systems in your therapy, you'll eventually learn that we do have all these different parts of us, and we have parts of us that are trying so hard to protect us, but they don't know how to do it in a way that is balanced. And so we've got all these parts just like, coming up against each other. And what we need to do is be able to see them and love them, respond to them, so that all of us can be a more cohesive whole. So all of us can respond to our need. And building that self-awareness, noticing what's coming up inside, and being able to respond to it is part of that healing. The second thing that I have noticed working with my therapy clients is that one of the most healing things in trauma healing is the ability to have choice. This seems so simple, but I want you to just take a moment and think. Have you experienced times in your life where you just felt like the world was against you? There was like no way out of your situation. You felt like life would just throw something at you at any moment, and you had to just take it. That's what it feels like to be without control, to be without choice. And something that's so healing in this trauma healing journey is being able to choose for ourselves. So this is where boundaries come in. This is where choosing the people that you surround yourself with comes in. Being able to say, okay, I am my gatekeeper. Nobody else is going to be able to say, what's allowed into these vulnerable parts of me and what's not. I have to do that. And when you get to do that, you get to reclaim your power. You don't feel like a victim to the world anymore. You get to have choice. It's such a dignifying thing, and it's such a stabilizing thing to know that you can choose. This is really, really hard, especially this boundary piece, if you are so used to ignoring yourself. And again, this is where the self-awareness comes in of like, okay, like I need to know what doesn't feel safe for me if I'm going to be an effective gatekeeper for myself. If I don't know what I need, how am I going to make choices about the people in my life and how I relate with them that are life-giving? Like if I just don't even know what I need. So again, like getting back in touch with ourselves, being able to have choice. And then the third thing would be to have safe relationships in your life. If there is nothing else that you do this year but surround yourself with safe, loving people that you don't feel like you have to perform for, you don't feel threatened by, I would say that would be like a huge win for 2024. You know, I often talk to clients about imagining your relationships like a house. Okay, so just stick with me for a moment. Imagine you had a house and you've got your front lawn. Maybe you've got, a fence around the lawn with a mailbox outside of the fence. Maybe you've got your front porch, then you've got your living room and your kitchen, and then you have your bedrooms upstairs. Okay, so when you bring people over to your house, there are some people that you feel comfortable with them being in the living room. Like we can have casual conversation. I generally like you and feel comfortable around you, but I'm not at a place where I can just like pour out all of the most vulnerable things about me because we're not there yet in our relationship. Or maybe you have people where they have been so damaging to you that you're like, you know what? I'm okay with you being like out by the mailbox, but I don't want to invite you into my space. That doesn't feel safe. And then maybe you do have those people in your life who are just such safe, grounding, loving people that you're like, I can expose my soul to you and know that you will hold it well. And usually we don't have a lot of these people. But, those would be the people that you're like, yeah, you can come up where the bedrooms are. You can read my kid a story tonight. I trust you. Okay. When we think about our relationships, we need to think about, having relationships in different categories. We don't want to have everyone in the bedroom, but we also don't want to keep everyone out by the mailbox. And often what happens is when we have been hurt by people and we have this relational trauma, we tend to either have this more anxious attachment style type where we're like, I'm going to pour everything out and please don't leave me, so I'm going to put you all in the bedroom. But then we get hurt a lot. We re-experience that abandonment. And maybe if you've been let down and you've been neglected and people have not met your needs in the past, you've learned everybody gets to go out by the mailbox. I feel comfortable with that. I'll handle myself. But then you just feel alone. You lack that deep connection. So I'd encourage you, as you're thinking about your relationships, think about, okay, who are those people, those one or two people I can really be comfortable around? I don't have to perform for. Who are people in my life that maybe need to be moved out to the front lawn because they haven't been safe? They've been really, really damaging for me to be around. And the reason I say this is because when we have healthy relationships in our life, when we are surrounded by safe people and we are balanced in our relationships, it becomes this playground for us to learn healthy ways of relating, to heal those abandonment wounds and attachment wounds, not in a codependent way, but in a way where we learn what healthy, secure attachment feels like, how it works, how having a boundary and it being respected is actually a life-giving thing, a thing that helps relationships thrive. So, as you go into this year, I'd encourage you to build that self-awareness, learn about yourself, so that you know how to make choices and respond to yourself well. And from there, to choose healthy relationships to surround yourself by so that you can do this healing in the day to day without being re traumatized over and over. And if you're looking for a way to do this with other people who are committed to this healing process and want to journey with you and support you, I'd encourage you to sign up for the Love After Complex Trauma program. What we do is we work through these three elements. We first start by uncovering our survival skills, how our trauma formed us, and then we move into, okay, what does it look like to have healthy boundaries? What does it look like to relate intentionally, to choose who we let in and who we don't? And then how do we relate in our relationships in a way that maintains healthy connection and actually takes our trauma and transforms it into something that can be a gift to our relationship? An example of this might be, you grew up being really hypervigilant. Well, okay, how do we transform that into something that now makes you an incredibly attuned partner or a parent or friend? So, there's a way to really transform these things, but it starts with that self-awareness, then building choice, then really healing in relationship. So go ahead and check out the link below if you want to sign up. Applications are open until January 14th, and this will be a small number of people. So grab your spot while you can. I'm here to support you. Please feel free to leave any questions. I would love to be able to walk with you through this journey.